Hi guys, it's Promise Sebastian here again with another awesome Blender tutorial. So today we are going to be learning how to light up your glass to look very interesting. So you can see this one now. This is the finished product here. So you see how the lights are reflecting there, and then you can see the lights here, making it much more interesting. Okay, so glass is very best when you have a lot happening in the background like this one now. So here is an example now. So you have a lot happening in this background. So it's easier for all this to be seen through this glass and make it more interesting. So it is my Behance profile. I've quite done a lot of these glass models here. So it's quite interesting so to work with this now. So you can see this one, you can see this one, you can actually see this one. So the lights are actually bouncing off on it. And why these ones look very interesting because there is a lot happening in this background now. So now here that we don't have much happening in this background here, so it's going to be a very hard work for you to make this glass look very interesting and also look like glass as well if you really don't understand the concept. So I'm going to be simplifying it in this tutorial. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. So let's get started without further ado. Okay, now I'm going to add a HDR here. So glass works like I said earlier. When you have a lot happening at the background, it's going to help the glass to reflect some that it has to reflect, and then transmit some it has to transmit as well. Okay, so now let's head over to the render preview mode. So you can see this is kind of really not interesting. So what I will do first is add a HDR to this background now. So like I said, glass works when you have a lot happening in the background. So what we'll do is shift A now, and then on the search we'll type in environment texture. So this is the environment texture. I'll just click on it right away, then drag the color and plug it on the color here. So I'll just it turns purple because there is no image. So I'll click on open now. Then I'm gonna go to the folder where I have the HDR, so I can open up the HDR now. So I'm gonna scroll down. So here is it now, environment, and then this is the HDR. So I'll click on open image. Automatically it's gonna add the HDR for me. So now let me use the camera so you can see what I have now. So this is looking okay, but this is not the best setup. Okay, there's a lot to do to this. You can see there's no much detail on the glass due to the lights are not reflecting on it. So if I render this out now, you won't get a good result. And you can see here it's kind of late. It's not very bright and then interactive. So now we are going to start our lightning. So head over to the viewport shading mode now. So now I will start adding my lights now. So first of all, I'm going to use the 3-point light setup now for this now. So we use a spotlight now. So shift A now to add light now. So I'm going to use spotlight. I have the first spotlight now. So I'm going to use the transformation key here to transform the spotlight to my preferred angle and position. So I'll rotate here, and then G to grab this guy here, X to scale it very well, and then the Z axis, left click and hold and try to rotate it now. So I'm gonna use the Z flat view so I can be seeing it from the top view. So now I have this here now. So let's try to rotate this again somewhere here. G to keep this guy here. So let's see what will happen. So this is looking okay. Let's just drag this guy now. Then we point it on the glass. I think this is looking great now. So let's see what the output looks like now. And then this is looking great now. So what we can do now is change these light setups now. So from the with the light selected, I'll just head over to the light settings now, and then increase the blend. So it's going to blend very much well with the background. And then the power of the light. So this is a spotlight. It needs to have a good amount of power. So let's just make this 500 now. Okay, so you can see the light is now reflecting on this side. So now we'll duplicate this and make the other one 1000. I'm going to do 2:1. So I'm just going to switch back to the viewport shading. So I'm gonna right click now and then head over to duplicate object, that shift D, and then duplicate and keep it here. So what I can do is right click again. I'm going to hold over to mirror now. Then I'm going to mirror it X now to mirror it on the X axis. It's going to give me the same angle and then the same position, but then this one is going to have a much stronger power than the other one. So now we'll increase the power of this one to 1000. 1000, enter now. So now let's see what we'll have from the render view mode now. Okay, so this is looking much more interesting now. This is looking much more interesting now. So let's head back to the viewport shading now. So now I'm going to duplicate one of these and then place it at the front. So let's use the VZ flat view again. Right click, duplicate, place this guy here. And then let's use the C flat view to rotate that guy. And then G to place it at the front there. So this one is going to be facing the bottom. It's not going to be up now. Like it's not going to be angled like these ones are angled now. So it's going to be very straight facing the bottle. So I'm gonna rotate and then Z to drag, that's drag on the Z axis now, then make sure it's facing the bottle. Okay, so this is great now. So this one is not going to have much intensity. That's the power is gonna be very small. Now I want to use the transformation key, but I'm not using the actual one I want to use. So let's just use G to grab this guy here and then Y to grab this guy out now. So now this one will have a power of about just 100. It's not going to have much strength just to be there. So let's see what we have from the render view mode now. Okay, so it's getting interesting. It's getting interesting now. So let's use the viewport shading view again. So now we are going to get a point light now. So we duplicate this light and turn it to a point light. So I'll right click now, duplicate again. So this one will have to be at the back of this bottle. So you're going to see the difference now once we add this one now. So let's change it from a spotlight now to a point light, and then we're going to add it, give it a good amount of power. Let's just give it 300 watts now. Then we're going to place it at the back, the G now. Then I think it's at the back. So grab it little out, then grab it up a little bit. So there I think will be great now. So we're going to make sure that this one is blending as well by increasing the radius a little bit. Increase the radius a little bit so it's going to blend very well. So now let's see what we have from the render view mode now, or the render preview mode. So you see it's now getting very much interesting. It's now getting very much interesting. So now the next thing for you to do now is add an area light. So if you check from this my own I just did now, you can see these lights now that are reflected here. These lights are area light that you bring them very close and then reduce the strength of the area light. So we're going to do that as well now, then make sure that we get it perfect as well. So we'll right click and duplicate this one and then bring it to the front and then change it from point light, from these light settings here, you can see the icon there, to area light. So with this area light now, you have more options than you have than the point light. In area light, you're going to have the size for the rectangle and then the Y and X axis for the area light. So let's select the area light again. So now we'll change this area light as well from square now to rectangle, because we want it to be reflecting some vertical type of light from here. So now we'll change it from square, it was now, to rectangle now. So with this rectangle now, you can change how long you want the light to be and then how wide as well you want it to be by just playing around with the X and Y axis there. So we want to rotate this now so it's facing this bottle. It's going to be close enough to the bottle. So let's grab this guy close enough there. So it's going to be close enough like this now. You can bring it up a little bit so the light is not going to be hitting the ground there. Okay, so now what we can do now is reduce the strength of this light. Let's just make it about 50, and then we'll duplicate this other light as well. So we'll duplicate it so we'll have another one by the right. So what I can do is just mirror now. I right click and duplicate and then mirror. Right click again, go to mirror, mirror on the X axis so the light is mirroring there now. So now let's check what we have on our render and see the amount of data we have. And now we can adjust now. Okay, so you can see now the lights are reflecting on the glass. So you can see the area light now showing on the glass. So this is really interesting. So we can add as much of the area lights to get and bring it very close, reduce the intensity very small now, and then get your lights close enough. So you can add as much to get much of this light, sharp light reflections on the bottle, which will make it very interesting and much more realistic. So okay, so this is cycles I'm using, and I'm definitely going to render it out. So if we render this out now, so we are going to get this now, that lead this. So that is it, how to light up your bottle. Okay, so it's quite easy, just follow the steps and then we're going to get something really great. We don't have much in this background, and then with this setup you will get a perfect light. So that is it for today's tutorial. Thanks for watching, and I hope this tutorial helps you. Okay, so thanks for watching once more. See you on my next tutorial.